button. Oh, said it was hot before we pressed the button. So, yeah, I don't know.
Let's get forth with no delay.
Well, let's pretend that the mics are on. So, good day. Welcome to the show. I'm Marijuana Man. This is From Under the Influence here in sunny Vancouver. Joined today by Mr. Cookie, my good pal.
Howdy, y'all.
Nice to have you in the house.
It's good to be here. Nice sunny day.
Cookie brought along his skateboard slash rolling tray.
Yeah, right here. You got the nice rolling spot on it. Shout out to Pure Hemp, Mark over at Pure Hemp for hooking up the board.
That's crazy fun, I gotta say.
I did it up good with the gold trucks, green tires. Has a nice green top here.
No.
And then Chris Dyer art on the bottom.
If I was out there doing my ollie lip slides, I'd be fucking...
That's the only board you ever want to ride.
You'd want. That's for sure.
Hemp composite? That's a lie. I don't actually know if that's true.
I never did any skateboarding in the modern era. I was blessed or fucking cursed with being the kid that got the first skateboards.
Banana board.
Oh, no. Way before that.
Just like a wood?
Yep. Just a wood with fucking steel roller skate wheels, because that's all existed at the time for roller skate wheels was steel. You couldn't get the fucking thing to go downhill.
Too many bumps.
All you could ever do was just grab a bumper of a car going by. That was about the only thing that you could ever fucking do until, of course, it touched anything on the road and you smashed. So I never got to do any of the cool shit on a skateboard. Way too old now, I gotta say. I need my hips. Still using my hip.
Yeah, easily blow off one of those one fall.
No, my kidneys got two.
True.
But I like the sensibility of the skateboarder. The renegade fucking fuck you kind of attitude to the world is pretty okay by me. I wish they'd stay the fuck away from me on the sidewalk, though.
That's the thing, yeah.
Especially coming up behind. Like, you hear a skateboard coming up behind you, you go, what the fucking guys here? Come on. I want to just get in his way. Dude, come on. But, nevertheless, that's pretty cool, I think.
Yep, I was stoked when I seen that one. I was like, oh, I'll make it just for, bombing around. I ain't doing no kickflips on it, that's for sure.
Yeah, fun stuff out there in the world. I got myself this car, as it turns out. Turns out I want a car. Back in January, saw this car on Craigslist while just looking around. Wasn't even looking for a car. I was just looking at classics and shit. And I ran across this 1968 Jaguar. It is a Model 420. No shit. So I didn't even know such a thing existed, a fucking 420. So no, I took a closer look. Turns out pretty nice car, Model 420. And so I got it and took it to a car show this past weekend. They have a big thing at Van Dusen Gardens here in Vancouver called the All British Field Meet. And I thought, wow, field meet, that doesn't sound very good. But a little gamey this time of year. But at any rate, like 500 British classic cars show up to this thing, and it's a fucking big deal. So brought it in and had just a blast all day. Mr. Cookie was there for a while.
It was good times, looking at all these old cars.
We smoked plenty of joints in the woods There's the Jaguar joint right there. No one even noticed. But we had plenty of time all day long to step off to the side. And what the fuck?
Yeah, I guess you really don't have to be there. You just have to show up, set it up, make sure no one. Well, it's always good.
Yeah, people you can walk around and stuff. I don't know, it was really an interesting thing. I've never done such a thing in my life. I've never had a classic car to enter into anything or
Nor to show.
no. And so I didn't really know what to expect, but it was pretty cool. I was in a Jaguar section and a certain class of Jaguar that the 420 fits in. This car, as it turns out, is pretty rare.
Only 420 of them made.
Well, the car world seems to think there might be only 500 of them left, so it might be closer to 420 left in the world.
Make that a thing.
And it was this odd time at Jaguar where they had achieved massive success with the E-Type sports car around the world, and they were flying high on that, and they wanted to introduce another model of car, but they didn't really want to do a sports car. They were doing sedans, or as they called them, saloons. Not sure why it's called a saloon, but
you know why.
so they just kind of refashioned a big it was a big giant car. It was called the Mark 10. Huge, big engine, 4.2, fucking triple carbs on it, same engine as the XKE, but it was a giant car, and they had a little bit of success with it, but it was too big for the times, so they wanted to downsize somewhere in between the sports car and the saloon model, so they came up with the 420, and it's a fucking nice little car. God's sake.
And it's still not that small. Like,
And it's not really that small. It's a
Turns
sedan,
out today.
4-door sedan.
yeah.
But it's all leather interior and wood grain fucking everywhere, all around all the windows. And it's just, but it hasn't been restored at all. The interior is absolutely 1968. So, I had always thought to restore it, but now I'm beginning to understand a little bit more. The classic car world is actually turning away from restoration.
Shunning people.
As yeah, a couple guys have been killed.
They restored an unrestorable.
They're kind of talking about older cars like antiques now. Not to be restored.
They want the patina.
Yeah, like you wouldn't take a fucking Louis XIV chair and repaint it.
Sand her down.
Right. It does not make that chair more valuable. In fact, it destroys any value that it had. So they're going, hey, well, wait a second. We got these cars, like they're fucking really old and antique, but the guy put $100,000 into the restoration. And it's nice, but it ain't that car anymore. Right?
Yeah, it's all
so they're
new
beginning
car.
to see that. So apparently there's some value now in a car that is unrestored. The restoration, they're now calling it preservation. Preserving, keeping the mechanical up, drivable, this kind of thing, right? So, which is really cool. I'm really into that. And wow, it's cheaper.
Yeah.
You don't got to do nothing. So, turns out I was to be judged in that category, unrestored original car. And I won. I won the fucking thing.
Here it is.
Here's the plaque. No shit, eh? 5 months ago, I didn't know anything about any of this shit. Right? And I don't know. It's just been a kind of a magical thing, and I believe the magic is all coming from the number 420.
Wow,
doubt
and the
about
smoke
it.
signals up for it and all that other stuff. Of course.
Hi, Rose. And I've named the car Smokey. You can come and join us if you'd like.
Smokey
Yeah,
the
so-
Bandit.
Out of the blue, Smokey took a fucking prize. That's all I can say. I'm a little stunned by it all, but I don't know. My motivation had nothing to do with any of this. Like I didn't even know, kind of deal. But the thing is that because I really liked the car, and it has a history, and you could actually find out. You can write to Jaguar with your VIN numbers, and they'll tell you the day it was born, if you will.
And who
rolled
worked
out
on
of the
it.
factory, January 10th, 1968, on a Wednesday. Same day I do my show, for fuck's sakes.
By a guy named Greg Walkerton. No.
Yeah. I used to live in Walkerton. Oh, it's so.
Yeah, I think that's cool about the
Kismet.
Jaguar, though. Yeah, they give you like the whole deal. They're like, here's all the information we got. Who put the last bolt in there? They're like, oh, it was Roger. Roger S.
But I could also. The internet is amazing. You can search for fucking nearly anything. So I could find a magazine that from 1967, Road and Track, that introduced the 420 to the world with a review, and I could buy that, and I bought the article out of it, and you could get different little things like that, and it's to me it was fascinating and just so much fun to be able to find out more and more about it. And then I took all that to the show, and turns out that's what you're supposed to do.
I don't know.
And I didn't really know that. And as it came down to it in the
Too late.
competition, the judge told me that it came down to my car and a Rolls Royce. So,
Crappy Rolls Royce, though.
which I never saw, but he said the difference was this stuff that you brought
The flare.
about the car, the history of the car, and that kind of thing, and it would made the difference. And I thought, well, that was very gratifying. That
Well, I kind of
You were
heard
thinking that, but not.
here's Rose too joining us.
Hello. Hi. I'm just rolling the joint, getting into it. Sorry I'm late. I ran into someone from the Yukon.
Huh?
So
Bang, that
I've
hurts.
just been rude to keep running by. So apologies. And, thanks for, hi everybody in internet land, wherever you may be on the .com. Thanks for the nice things you're saying.
Rose was there all day Saturday too.
Yeah, that was really cool. I've been at car shows, I've been to bike shows, but I've never been to that kind of car show.
Yeah, it was different. It was nice. I don't know.
It was cool. Everybody was cool, It was just really relaxing. And I guess that's what you do for fun when you have like an extra mill lying around.
Yeah, I can't imagine what the value of all the cars put together were there that day. It was millions and millions of dollars.
So much.
Hundreds of millions.
And here, when you think about it, it was in Van Dusen Gardens, which is part of the Park Sports portfolio.
That oil dripping.
So they have no
Grass.
problem allowing 500 cars to drive
cars.
onto the lawn.
Old cars.
And these are old British cars. So that rhymes with leaking oil.
Yep.
Notorious for that. Every one of them.
I believe it was British car,
Yeah.
leaky seals.
So they had no problem waiving that potential
And all the people that walked on the grass.
and thousands of people walking around all day. And then, no smoke in the park, but holy moly, when every fucking engine fired up at 4:30 to get out of there.
Some serious.
Oh, there was some serious smoke. They all smelled like my car, too.
They did.
You go, oh, that's a fucking from 1962.
That's how they did her, eh?
But no problem with that. Not a cop in sight either. Right?
Couple security guys
20
checking a ticket and looking
$20
at cars.
million worth of cars there, not a cop in sight. Right?
Some guy with a walkie. We got a few people down here.
Today in the news, the fence is still up down at Sunset Beach. They're just keeping the fence up. Fucking damn hippies. We hate them.
And the grass is like needs to be cut. It's growing back so good.
Yeah, grass
They're
is
just like, oh, whoa, we're not gonna do anything here.
just that patch of grass is growing up above the fence now.
It's like halfway up, eh? They're like, oh. Oh, here, Rose. Oh, shit. I forgot there's one ashtray right here in front. Skateboard just hides all my
I know
crap
you
back
got
here.
your own little fort going on there, right? You don't want anybody watching.
Get too stoned. I'm like, oh, it's stuck down here for a while.
This skateboard has a rolling tray built into it.
Oh, come on.
It does.
I love that. Who put that
It's
in?
from the Pure Hemp Paper Company.
Oh, yes,
That,
of
yeah.
course. Right there. I'm right there.
Yeah, I wonder who decided that. But yeah, I was like, whoa. They said it to me, I was just like, well, yeah, I roll on the back of a skateboard occasionally, and that's perfect.
Nice.
It's
So
usually they're a bit concave, so it'll kind of like.
My last tango with a skateboard. I'm kind of terrified now.
yeah, yeah, we're at that age.
I'm
now.
officially too old for that shit. That was a while ago.
Not too old for skateboard, just too old for hitting the fucking sidewalk.
Yeah, the hard landings.
That kind of
It's the
thing. Can't do
landings.
that anymore. Like you young guys and girls.
It's true.
And good on you for trying the tricks over and over.
Well, with
and
that electric skateboard
over.
I have, it's like an extreme sport. Like, I fully suit up every time I take it out because you can't even just be like, oh, I'm just going to take it down to the store. You end up like, oh, I'm going to go for a little rip here. And then you kind of forget you're not geared up.
And then you find yourself on the Burrard Street Bridge going fucking 60.
Yeah. Blowing through cars.
Bumper ride
Tell 'em.
buses.
Tell them you should be riding electric, bro. Stuck in traffic.
Cab driver today downtown today just kept fucking asking me which way I wanted to go.
The way to get there, man. The way there.
Why am I want a discount if I got to tell you how to get there. What the fuck?
Tell
I'm
him,
a guy.
Tell him the wrong way. You're like, well, take this way and then cut down over there. And he's like, what the? See if he does it.
You can probably much count on me being a guy that doesn't drive because I'm getting a fucking cab. Come on. You're asking me which way to go? I don't know. Well, I do.
It's probably because of people like me that yell at them for going the long way.
And then they don't go, and it just go. Come on, dude. Give me fucking choices. You want to go Granville? You want to go? And none of the I said no. Let's go Burrard. Because he didn't mention that.
Weird. Eh? I always tell him, whatever's cheapest, bro. You know the roads.
Costs the same no matter which way they go. Really, to me, but
Within $1.
yeah,
Yeah, like
there's
it's not-
rarely any unless traffic's bad. But no, I don't like that. I want cab drivers that get me there and fucking drive this city fast. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to anticipate shit, get in the right fucking lane, and drive as fast as you can to the location. That's what a cab is, and that's kind of why I want to take one, for that excitement. Right, of being in a cab and fucking this guy is getting through traffic faster
Toronto
than
styles. Yeah,
anybody.
Vancouver styles isn't like that.
No.
Vancouver cabs are like shit.
Fucking
They're like, I don't know.
lousy drivers and boring.
It's because we don't have Uber and shit. We don't have Uber and Lyft here, so the cab drivers were at there's nothing we can do. They're just like, oh, they gotta take us no matter what. And I always tell them every time I get out when they're a shitty cab driver, I said, you guys are gonna be fucking sorry when fucking Uber comes to town. And they're just like, you know.
You get out of my cab.
Oh, yeah, I
Just
had
say
one guy, like,
Uber.
curse me
Don't
out. I
say
was
Uber to
just
me.
like, oh yeah, he was like so upset. I was like, yeah, you know what that is, eh? You probably have friends in other fucking provinces that drive cabs that know, like, oh, since Uber came, we got to be really nice to these people. We got to take credit cards. We got to fucking do it all.
I don't even know what Uber is really.
Well, it's like a
Is
thing
it
on your
just
phone.
a stranger gonna come
A
and
stranger,
pick me
yeah,
up?
but he has like credentials, you know, sort of.
Oh
He
yeah.
also has a phone.
He also has a phone,
Ooh.
internet connection, and a car with insurance. Proof of insurance.
That's all the requirements are.
That's it.
Nah, I'm just gonna stick with cabs. Still.
And possibly a clean driving record, but I haven't actually applied because we're not allowed it in our town. I have it when I go to Toronto. I use it there, and it's always like half the price of a cab. And most times people are good. Like when it first started, it was more like your buddy driving you. They'd always try to talk the shit out of you. Now they're more just like, hey, where you going? You can put it like in your phone, like where you're going, and then they pick you up. You don't even have to say anything to the guy if you don't want to. Like, you know, you can just be like,
Well, that's what I tell them when they start talking. I say, I don't want to say anything to you.
guy, go like this. And they're just like, and then they're done, you know? And then I'm just like back to whatever, playing video games on my phone. Spider-Man and Lego Land.
Spider-Man and Legoland on your phone. Huh.
Yeah.
It's an amazing world out there.
Yeah, and when I was a kid, I never thought I'd be playing video games in the back of a taxi going down the road on my phone.
No.
Got like a phone with like a dial. Someone say, oh, you're going to play video games on your phone. You'd be like, wow, I'd be uncomfortable, but okay.
So if they can do that, why haven't they perfected the teleporter yet? We don't even
Particle
need,
theory, that's why.
we don't even need a fucking cab.
We don't even need to go anywhere. Just
Take the
everything just
cab out of the
comes to
equation.
us.
So you could be on your phone while being teleported.
Yeah, no disruption.
Eh?
The signal would be stronger.
Yeah. As long as there's good Wi-Fi while I'm being transported.
I'm good.
And you don't accidentally end
So
up
you
in
can-
a parallel universe or something.
With no signal.
Right.
With no signal.
Just no service. You're like, I must be in a parallel universe.
That's fucking hilarious. The world is phone crazy.
Yeah, I left my
Not
phone at
everyone.
home a couple times.
Some people are
and
good at it.
was weird. Like, I was like, oh, what's going on?
Can't
and
imagine.
There's
Yeah,
nothing wrong. Like,
I
what?
know
I'm
you.
expecting all these calls? Not really, no.
People are
going back.
literally dying for their phones. They really are.
Yeah.
And some of them, I don't know.
And from texting and walking, these guys.
their guardian angels must just be like.
Oh no, they're guardian angels on
Fucking Guardian Angel's done. They're like,
Just like,
"Fuck,
On his phone.
he's on his phone. I can't be responsible
Yeah.
for that.
Yes. Ah!
guardian angels on his phone going, okay, well, who's next?
All right.
Oh yeah, bang, there you go. All right.
So, yeah. I mean, standing on the very edges of corners, you know, buses flying by, like, just from their nose while they're on the phone.
Well, yeah, it's an interesting phenomenon, I gotta say. I saw a funny picture today of a Photoshop flip phone. When you open the flip phone, it had a rotary dial in it.
Really?
Yeah, which was
Full
hilarious.
circle?
No.
Some-
We're back to that now.
Hope
Some
not.
strange thing.
Well, they did have that thing you plug in your phone that was just like the receiver from that dial phone, like a full-size one, so you could be like, oh. If anyone doesn't know, there used to be like just a phone.
A big fucking...
And you could like cradle it in your shoulder like this and give you like a weird back cramp if you did it for a while.
It's as big as a log.
Just like probably this big, like, hello?
When you were a little kid, you had to
It was
take a
heavy.
run at the phone to get it to fucking work. Need help getting that thing off. My grandmother had a phone that was so fucking heavy, that part.
All speaker
Oh yeah, and all
whatever.
metal and fucking... Oh my god. Crazy shit. But, yeah, who knew? Who knew that when you watch movies that are made in the past but set in this reasonable future, they didn't see that coming.
Well,
Not...
Star Trek.
Yeah, but
But
they-
not
communicator.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was just on board. People
But the
weren't walking
people
around
aren't,
on
like,
their
on their
phone.
Right? Staring at the
Oh,
Spock's like, hey boys, we're gonna go here. He's like, hey, stop looking at communicators, everyone.
they're all they're all looking at Facebook. Come on, that was
seeing
fucking
what each other's
golden,
doing.
golden material.
Social
Facebook
laziness.
for Star Trek fans. Facebook, come on.
Social
Somebody
laziness.
send me a check.
No.
Speaking of sending a check, there was Bill Blair.
Ooh,
You know who that is?
that guy,
Oh,
marijuana guy.
He's some guy. Some people think he's like a slimy pig
He smells
cop.
Yeah,
That,
ex-cop, weed
ex-cop
guy,
who hated
He smells bad.
marijuana and did nasty things while he was a cop. And other people think he's the minister of marijuana.
He does.
Minister of Marijuana.
Yeah,
Who voted him the Minister of Marijuana?
Some people just think he's drunk.
nobody.
It's one of those self-appointed things.
of Marijuana. Is that what he said?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty
So
much.
that he made an announcement today
Wow.
out there in Calgary.
The
24
epicenter.
Yeah, $24 million the government, i.e. taxpayer, all right? They never word it that way. They always say the government is going to spend $24 million on stuff around cannabis. They announced today. Oh, it's just fucking sad. Here's what going on. One of the things is to research the potential of cannabis hypersemesis or whatever the fuck it is. Mises to pieces.
Reese's Pieces.
Reese's, yeah, cannabis Reese's pieces.
But yeah.
No, money to be invested in researching that. The syndrome where like 1 in a million fucking people all of a sudden become allergic to cannabis.
And it looks a lot like a pesticide poisoning, so who knows?
The chat thinks you should be the Minister of Pot, Greg.
What? Yeah. I changed the name minister though, because that's got an evil connotation in the
churchiness.
world.
Yeah,
I would
it's
want
too
to be.
soon for us.
I'd be called the pastor of pot,
It's too
eh?
soon.
Or the reverend of pot, the bishop. Ah. Right, some
Bishop.
church thing. Ah.
The Jesus of pot.
Haze.
So they're going to do that. They're going to research that. They're also going to put money towards a fucking smear campaign teaching the people about the dangers of marijuana.
Just
they're
looking
gonna
at the effects on cancer and shit.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, not even fucking close to money. They shouldn't be spending a dime, these fucks. Taxpayers shouldn't be funding this. The fucking, look at Canopy Growth, for Christ's sakes. They're worth $15 billion. They want to do research, they can fucking do it. You don't have to. What are you doing any studies for? The fuck are you doing? Scraping out as much as they can out of the taxpayers' trough and making a fucking announcement like it's a good thing. Never once mentioning it's out of your pocket. We're doing
well,
this.
and it's not even like a really big thing, you know. Like, oh, we're gonna fucking put all this money into like find the cure for cancer. They're like, no, we'll find this disease that harms. You know, it does affect people. I feel bad for the people it affects, but it's not like as many people as other things affect that they could already be looking into to reconfirm maybe that this stuff works for this stuff, not just.
Oh, they should just shut the fuck up.
Well, I find it from like, maybe a social perspective or whatever interesting that the precedence of people's offending people's aesthetics has somehow preceded the health and wellness and happiness of the general public, sick or not.
Well-
How did this happen? Right? Because like somebody doesn't like the smell. They don't want their neighbor making smells.
Oh,
These are the
it's
same
just
fucks
brutal.
that ban barbecues, right? They want your color, your curtains to all be the same fucking color.
Yeah.
Yeah, they want to police the whole world, right? It's the same fucking idiots, right? And none of them, most of them, probably never even smoked a joint. And that's what I
Oh,
find
no. It's-
really kind of offensive, is that people who don't know anything about anything are in charge. They're spending a
And-
lot of fucking money on God knows what. They're laundering tons, right? While everybody just sits there and goes, ooh. Right?
Cannabis is legal. We got to spend money
Yeah.
as fast and as hard as we can. I wish these fucks would get caught. I wish somebody would start asking some questions. You know, the media doesn't. They don't ask any questions of these fucking idiots.
They've already got them wrapped up.
They just want to be reporters, not investigative
no, they report what
reporters.
they are told.
Exactly. And
And
you see
nothing
that
more,
in the
nothing
cannabis
less.
world more, certainly all the time. So I suspect in the other part of news media, it's exactly the same. These people are just writing what they're told to fucking print.
Exactly.
That's it. Cut and paste. Cut and paste this and put your name on it. Way you go. But
But what do we know?
I can't remember what the other money was to be spent on with this gouging. Bill Blair, you drunk fuck. Pigs. It'll all go to the cops. The whole fucking thing is about money going to the cops. How gross that we have to live in a world where these civil servants make such demands on us. And all about how much money they can get.
Like who lets
money they can
who
get.
lets a drunk be in charge? Honestly.
Yeah.
A lot of other drunks sometimes.
Oh, yeah, the rest-
Maybe they were drunk.
The rest of the drunks.
Maybe, just maybe, sobriety might be a requirement when you want to elect someone to office.
Ah, interesting. How about that? That's
Eh?
That's an interesting
Isn't it?
occurrence. Nothing. You can't do nothing.
And stop throwing these stupid
That
studies
too,
in our
yeah.
faces.
Can't be drunk voting.
Right? Stop throwing the stupid studies in our faces that, ignore factors like stupidity and bad driving. With or without marijuana. Right? With or without a substance.
Oh no, they're going berserk because that's one of the things the cops
Right?
are going to do
It's just
is
money,
hunt you
money,
down
money,
on
money,
the
money.
highway and test you for marijuana, and the virtual presence of it puts you in jeopardy.
Well, because as soon as they smell it, then they're going to be like, well, this guy smoked at some point. Maybe you did, maybe you didn't, but that's what they're going to be thinking because, like, oh, well, now let's check them out. However, they're going to want to run their fucking stupid machine or whatever.
Their
you know?
ion detector.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they'll scan you
Star
for
Trek
fucking-
again.
No, honestly, I heard through a source, right, who does good work in the institutions, that they're scanned every time they go through. So even if you use marijuana, cannabis, topically as a cream, right, or you ingest it as an oil, it will turn up in an ion scan, and you'll be refused entry to do your job, your service, whatever it is you do there.
I on to that.
Right?
Same.
Well, isn't that nifty that the
Eh.
government has all these nifty little
Is it a
tools,
negative
eh?
or positive ion?
Better be positive.
You tell me.
I don't know.
Enough
I'm
negativity
gonna
out
look
there.
into it a little more.
No, they'll use everything they can find against us. There
Mostly
is
negativity.
just a constant hunt against cannabis users in our world, legal or not. Doesn't matter to them, it's legal. Right? They're just banned everywhere you turn. Penticton puts a cap of 14 cannabis stores in there. Why would you do that? Why?
Yeah,
How does
so-
that encourage that Penticton has good cannabis stores?
And it's like a pretty small place. 14 is like whatever a lot, but if you're going to just have it like, why limit it at 14?
Well, who doesn't understand the idea of competition, and the best stores will win that competition? As
Well, that
many,
would be a
you
fair
would
market.
think that as many who want to would come forward and try.
Yeah.
And then Penticton would be known as the place that is boiled down to the best fucking weed right there. But no,
No.
We'll put a cap on it so that that doesn't happen. You short-minded fucking idiot city councilors who don't know fucking anything about business,
Or
nor do the pinheads that advise you. You were advised in a direction, and you will go in a direction. What the fuck? Why would you put the cap on an industry? That makes no sense whatsoever.
They're like, well, there's 80 bars in Benedictine, so we should have 14 marijuana stores, you know?
Yeah, how many bars have you got? For
Oh.
Christ's sakes, how many pharmacies? For God's sakes, there's probably more than that. But it doesn't matter. These idiots. Why would you do that? Why would you even come up with that concept? It's it's not a concept that follows good business practices.
Like, unless for some reason they only have like 10 applications, and maybe like, oh, we have room to grow. But like,
Yeah.
still,
Well, there should be as many as want to come forward. Have you got a cap on shoe stores? Have you got a cap on any other kind of store?
Yeah. What kind of
maybe floaties.
Strip clubs,
Floaties
probably.
in
yeah, what sort
Penticton,
of business
Jerks.
discourages itself in the way that this one has?
Yeah.
In the mismanagement of the government. And that's all I can say is, like, you know, the government. And y'all welcome to being fucked over like an Indian, right? It's really true. They got away with it, you know, in plenty of places, and they're getting away with it now. And they start, you know, and in increments, they just violate people's rights, left, right, and center, until we become desensitized to it. And it's going on rampantly all over the place. So it's like putting out little fires, right? You're never really done. There's always something burning, something
Yeah.
going on.
Yeah,
Right?
something smoldering.
So my neighbors are always saying,
Your neighbors.
But here we are coming
Fuck the
into
neighbors. Fuck them. You know?
here we are coming
Fuck the
into the
government, too.
spring planting season for cannabis outdoor in Canada, if you will.
get your 4 on the floor.
No seeds, no
Look,
clones,
stop
no
it.
nothing. Government has nothing for you.
Find a compassionate medical grower.
You're allowed to grow 4 plants outside, not here in BC, not in Quebec, not in Manitoba, but in the rest of the country, you can grow your 4 plants outside. But there's no seeds. Nobody's got any seeds. Fuck you, industry. You fucking lame pieces of shit. You can get millions of fucking seeds off of just a small number of cannabis plants. You fucking pinheads, and you don't want to, right? There's some reason why you don't want to, because you could have. You could have.
They want nothing to do with anything that existed before their
Well, they have
fucking
the
law.
access to seeds. Like, you know, like
They made it. They took fucking Matt Barron, House of the Great Gardener. He's got seeds, didn't he?
DNA, they got seeds.
DNA's got seeds. No, none of theirs.
Greenhouse, they all got seeds. They all got seeds, but
Pretty
they're
sure
no-
Simon from Serious Seeds went along in that deal with Matt. They also have a deal with Greenhouse Seed Company. Not a
Yeah.
fucking seed. Come on, you guys. What's going on here?
Well, they did have some sort of seeds that were available maybe in Alberta
There
or
is-
something, but it was like expensive. and
One
just-
kind, $58 for fucking 6 seeds.
What?
Yeah, like a weird and just like a random
$58.
genetics or whatever. Like I
Yeah,
don't know
one
what it was.
strain.
No,
That's it. That's all.
And I think it was a shitty strain too. Well, I think it was shitty. We got
So-
nice fly, Sunwest Genetics.
So boo people like that.
So, you know, it's just nonsense, childish nonsense, and so disrespectful of the marketplace. Like, fuck you. Well, who do you treat like this, really, in the rest of the retail consumer world? Are you
Indians.
fucking... Yeah. It's so similar to
It
that
is,
fucking
Absolutely.
plate.
But
It's like a
Legislation,
colonization.
Measuring
That-
and controlling, you know, it's like
Take
fucking
your stuff-
threaten you,
Take
right?
your stuff away and
Shit,
give
take
you
your
nothing
land,
for it.
take your this, take your that, yeah, right? And we'll be happy till you're locked up.
So a couple stories I came across this week. I don't know if I can really get into it in a lot of detail. There was some scientific report that they found some ancient cannabis pollen
What?
in the middle of China. So, I don't know how old it is, but it was old, right? But the interesting thing about this is, and this has been going on for some time, they keep finding evidence of cannabis in ancient archaeological remains in this area of the world. But they keep jumping to the conclusion that this is where cannabis got its start on the planet. I'm not too sure why they leap to that conclusion right away.
Because it's the oldest spot, maybe, or I don't know.
Well, this would be the oldest geological, archaeological human thing. It's a human thing. It's got nothing to do with cannabis.
Oh yeah, it's like the people brought it
Right.
there. The cannabis could have been grown anywhere, and they could have brought it from wherever they were.
So this place that they are looking at exists up on the Tibetan steppes, which would be kind of due north of fucking India, across the Himalayas, up onto the fucking flatland, right?
Week hike for sure.
So, an interesting area of the world. They certainly don't grow any cannabis there now. They grow canola. Huh. How exciting.
Oh, great. More cancer stuff.
But, I don't know. It's fairly complicated. The study suggested that, I don't know. The study said that they thought that maybe when India used to be attached to Africa some fucking 100 million years ago and then broke off and began floating north towards Asia and eventually slammed into Asia, creating the Himalayas, therefore creating the steppes, as they're called in Tibet, where these scientists are saying that they created the environment that was so perfect for cannabis to emerge there.
Seems.
Makes sense.
No, not to me.
How's that?
Well, I'm not too sure why you could jump to that conclusion instantly. Where did the cannabis come from? Just out of the fucking thin air?
At the end, it was
Right
right on the edge
there?
of Africa.
Where did it come from? So, this area of the world is quite dry and also has extreme cold in the winter. It has a growing season about the length of the one here. So, I'm not too sure. We're certainly not talking about high THC content marijuana. We're talking about hemp, potentially ruderalis in that area of the world. But hemp for sure is what they're real. If in fact this piece of pollen that they found is cannabis, because it would all test cannabis. But it makes no sense to me to jump to this conclusion because you're completely ignoring Africa, right? Well, they say that here in fucking middle of China is the creation of cannabis, and way down here is the Congo, where the people in the Congo say, cannabis was here when we arrived. And the cannabis plant is older than humans, right? So, how did it get to the Congo? The world tends to think that humanity emerged in Africa. So that would mean that all the people that came along emerging out of Africa first had to go to fucking China with their marijuana seeds, take that up there, right?
Probably.
And then never come back. Like those people.
Yeah, you're
Like,
always gonna
really?
come back for your smoke, like
Well,
regardless.
It's possible there could have been currents or winds or systems in
winds.
place that could
Winds
have
is another
carried-
interesting thing.
carried,
The predominant winds in that area blow from the southwest up to the northeast off the Indian Ocean and up over onto the fucking steppes. It doesn't blow from the steppes down.
well, now it blows that way.
No, I looked up ancient winds, like back in March. No, I did, but right, because that's important, because cannabis is a wind-pollinated plant. Its lineage is not going to go in the opposite direction of the fucking wind. The wind is going to blow the pollen that way. Right? So if you look at this place in China, yeah, south of that, way south of that actually, is Southeast Asia where marijuana is found. Thailand, Cambodia, Vietnam, all through that region, Burma, then into India. India is covered with cannabis from south to north. Right? Then it goes up into Nepal, into the Himalayas, right there at the fucking edge of India. And then it goes into Turkmenistan and into Afghanistan, further on down into the hash-making regions. But there's still the fucking Congo weed. Where did it come from if that's the origin of... See, the thing about Africa, they don't have a written history. They don't have ancient writings like they do in China. Right? They also aren't dry and cold, which preserves things very well.
That's true.
So the pollen ain't being preserved for the centuries in the fucking Congo. Right? And nobody's even gone there to look.
Probably turned to dust after a year.
So cannabis is very old at being a wind-pollinated plant. The lineage of those are fucking millions, tens of millions of years old. Right? Now, I don't know. I've looked it up. And as the earth began to split, India was right at the fucking what they call the heart of Africa, where where science believes that this is where humanity started, right at that fucking place. Right? So India breaks off and begins to drift up. Madagascar's left there. India keeps going. I believe, or I think it's possible, that cannabis went with it. And it, over the fucking millions of years that it took to float there, cannabis could adapt to
As it got closer to
as
the
it,
equator.
as it went. Right? This is why India is just covered with weed.
What about
South.
birds? What about birds?
Birds.
Bees.
Birds eat seed, flower there.
Birds don't
have a
really eat
poop,
cannabis.
plant a
Really,
seed.
cannabis tries very hard for the birds not to eat its seeds. Like that's why they have trichomes
And so sticky
and
bitter.
cannabinoids and sticky goo. But at any rate,
But yeah,
here's what I think
maybe
happened.
some.
Once India slammed into Asia, creating Nepal, there's weed right there. There's weed right there in Nepal. How the fuck did that get there?
Bounced over.
Like, how did the weed get to these regions? In Afghanistan, they claim that the weed was there before people arrived,
Yeah, I think it was just everywhere.
right? So it was in some places, wasn't everywhere, just some places, right? So that's where people live now. Who the fuck lives in Nepal otherwise? Like, really? Like, is that not a potential reasonable assumption that people actually live there because the cannabis was already there? How the fuck did they get it to grow there otherwise? Where did the seeds come from that they brought to plant there? Were they hemp seeds? Because the shit they're growing ain't hemp. It's high THC producing cannabis.
There's a whole priesthood there. That's
Yeah, it might have just
that's
been like
about
that.
Cannabis,
But cannabis was here before people,
right?
right?
They said they found it. And
Yeah.
they're as old as time, right? They're as old as
So
our
everybody
people.
across the world is saying, see, boom, there goes India up slamming in, right? So otherwise, I do not see a trail here of cannabis from, say, Central to South Africa to northern China. I don't see a trail of agriculture that would support being able to take it from one region to the other and have any success whatsoever. You could not take seeds from China that were being produced and take them to the Congo. They are too thick and they will just fucking rot. You
Yeah,
can't.
they wouldn't even like go
Right?
to their full potential. Probably you wouldn't get
No.
a seed out of it because it'd just kind of be too.
It's
fucking-
too hot and humid there for that type of cannabis that would grow there. So, conversely, you could not go from the sativa world across Africa and take any of those seeds to central China and achieve any success either. You do not now have a long enough season to get seeds from the long-term sativa.
It's probably like the dinosaur birds. They probably took it and then brought it all over the place, you know? 'Cause they were big, so they just like, and the world was like smaller back then.
Well, cannabis would have been spread around the planet, but it would only take in certain places, it would seem. Maybe not spread around either, because when you look at the ancient splitting of the continents, North and South America had long since left before, and the prevailing winds at the time were this way across Africa, not towards where South America and North America were attached to the big continent.
Well, then there's this. What if the presumption that the academic version of the continental drift is in fact correct?
Well, yes, but I'm just kind of looking at what they think they've come up with to form.
I'm not
theory
satisfied with
based
what
on
they've come up with,
Well.
because other than that, to explain, oh, people brought it somewhere.
Well, no, I don't think people brought they did later on. I believe they took it to the hash making regions. Or maybe it was already in Morocco. Maybe it was already in Lebanon. I don't know, but I think
Well,
potentially. I'll bet it was.
Maybe.
No, Morocco is newer, like on only like 50 years of hash making or something. Where like maybe not 50 years, but like where Afghanistan's been like forever.
Afghanistan forever. And it's an
And
inhospitable place
Egypt
to live.
forever, you know. Like that's a weird one. But
And how do you know it wasn't just, a couple of people? Like, say, one or two people or three, like you or me and Greg, who just fled to some isolated place when, your society was, your whole thing was threatened or ending or whatever.
well, they
culture
used
you
to-
came
it's,
from
yeah, it's a tough
was-
one because they used to say like
maybe it was just that simple, and then these priests found the plant and they went, oh, right, we are dealing with some kind of like mythical.
yeah, and if they're getting buried with it, it has to be important. You know,
Well,
it's not
they
like they're
have-
gonna bring like, oh, we got this shitty weed with
Oh
us.
no, they
Well-
have the tallest sativas drying, on string outside their huts, and their huts are built right into the earth and right into the rocks. And they
The
just-
interesting thing about the high THC producing cannabis on the planet is that, like I say, it's all over India. In the south, it's sativa. In the north, it's what is known as indica, right? Broader leaf, shorter, fatter, thicker, quicker flowering. Further north than that is ruderalis. Into the lower land regions, and this is all high mountain shit, right? Into the lower regions is where you get into the hemp, right? And lots of other places can grow hemp for some reason, because you don't need to get stoned off it, I guess.
Just need to produce it.
These other places do happen to grow that style of marijuana, right? That place in central China never would, right?
And they might even use it just as hemp, like they don't know.
So what that would suggest, given their theory, is that if marijuana started in central China, then it had to migrate into these other regions and become different kind of cannabis because of the environment that it went to. So once again, potentially, I guess you could take hemp seeds into Nepal and over about a fucking million years turn them into high THC producing cannabis. Because it takes a very, very long time to adjust and make those kinds of changes to a plant, even if you can.
Yeah, I almost
No
think
one
they
else
just
has
called
even
it
done
all-
that. No one's taken fucking hemp and turned it into high THC producing cannabis yet, ever.
Bringing
Anywhere.
it back, eh? We got
Right?
this. Now they're just like, oh, it's CBD. Let's see how high we can get that.
Nobody's
Okay.
taken a ruderalis plant and turned it into a really fucking strong high THC producing plant. Because it's not. Because it's from the region that it comes from is the reason it's like that. So, high THC producing marijuana, interesting that it came from China, right? It seems more likely to me that this came from India.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? That the sativas in the south of India, I don't know, I'm just saying, is in the same latitude as Thailand. Same latitude as, southeast fucking Laos, Cambodia. Places that grow fucking dank weed, crazy strong cannabis. And in the north were these indica type varieties that leaked over before humans even came over into the Hindu Kush Valley and survived there because it was a good place for it to survive. And it also went over into Nepal where it found a fucking little pocket in there that worked out.
Yeah, it's a weird one. That's what I mean. It's kind of like
That's what I think happened, because those varieties all exist now, and in a logical path of existence, rather than this stuff in ancient China starting it all. Doubt it.
Well, or it's like if we had the ability just to take that one strain, now there's not really that original strain, and just like over years and years and years, adapt it to that, and it might switch itself fully, but like we don't know how long it's been, maybe marijuana's been here since the beginning, which probably was, like, of course.
Well, we have a
Dinosaurs.
endocannabinoid system in our bodies. How the fuck did we get that?
Yeah,
Right? If cannabis wasn't right there the day we emerged from
You're
the
like,
primeval...
or it was a big part of our diet or something back then, or our animals' diet or whatever.
What was the ooze called then? Primordial. I was going to say primeval.
From the ooze.
Primeval.
Probably like fertilized by
On
the
the
ooze.
coat of the
There you go.
first fish thing that became a
Terpenes
an
as we
animal,
came
right?
Terpenes
along.
were born. The first terp came out. It was
Right.
fishy, but it was the first one.
Right? Yeah.
And then terp, the smell
Yeah.
was born.
Well, maybe the poor thing died and then fertilized,
thing.
and that seed or that whatever it became.
Well, let's see. I should have checked
Who
my
knows?
log.
Nobody
here.
knows
Oh,
because
no
nobody was
updates.
there, and that's the
Maybe I
fact.
can be heard. I hope I can be heard this week.
So
All right. Well,
I guess that means you're done, alien alarm.
yeah. We're getting out of here. The alarm just went off.
Oh, the fucking wrap her up. The lights are flashing over there, like. We're like,
Ding,
sorry,
ding, ding,
guys,
ding.
We
Fries
started a little late.
My alarm is covered in fur. 2 of them.
Yes.
Oh, cats are fucking crazy. Like, for some reason, they just want to get me up. They don't even need food or anything. It's just
No.
time to get up.
They want the house to themselves.
So they come and go right here on the and chirp at you and fucking whack at you with a paw. And the other one jumps up and stares at the other one until you wake up.
Or jumps on your head.
Tell them
They
to pat harder.
Yeah, run around, pretend to run around chasing each other so they can jump on the bed near your head, which they never fucking do. They never ever do that on that bed when I'm not laying in it. They're very suspect, these cats.
Oh, they're up to something, man. Cats. They
Oh,
fucking
yeah.
people.
Always.
People like get sucked in, but don't get sucked in, mate. Like, come
Never
on.
get complacent with the cat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard. What I heard? If you die, the cat will eat you, or a dog won't eat you right away, or something. Like
no,
the cat
that's
was
not
like 12 hours they'll eat you, and then like
Yeah.
dog was like 3 days or something.
Wonder
The
how,
dog wants you to be just.
wonder how they did that
So
test.
rotten.
Wonder how they did that test.
Yeah, I know. Like, what? They're just watching
did
people
that?
die. Like,
That's
oh, that
unethical.
person's. I just wait. Leave. They got cats. Leave them.
Right.
Day one.
So we got this study.
Any volunteers?
You want to be a part of this? When you pass away, we're gonna see if a cat eats you in hours. Sure. I like cats.
Yeah. So
And you have
what-
to be like with the cats before, so they know you, like, so you're friends.
and what's in it for me?
Oh, well, your cats will get fed good and everything after.
No. But what's in it for me? Oh, I'll
See
get
you
to be
later,
dead.
internet world.
So funny.
Well, funny. It is. All of it. Isn't it just a laugh? So, glad you could all join us today. I'm thrilled to be here as always. High top cannabis culture headquarters. Downtown Vancouver. Come on down and visit. Anytime. Couple floors of lounges, smoking lounges, and you can buy doobs and dabs and
They're token up.
dammits. As many dammits as you can actually get.
So many.
So yeah, join us here on Pot TV all week long for an amazing array of shows. Two sundries, I call them. Too many to mention.
Always something.
Yes, there's always something.
Just
Come to
turn it
Pot TV,
on.
there's always something.
Continue
You
on
can-
your day.
You can watch this again because you can't believe some of the things you've heard.
Yeah.
Right? You go, really?
Really?
Let me watch that again. And smoke more weed when you watch it the next time and see
If it's
if
better.
not better.
Or take
Or like play
mushrooms.
like the game toke when we toke, and then like pick a person, be like, oh, every time Cookie tokes, I'm gonna toke.
And say
And just-
something.
Yeah. See how it is. It's good at the end.
Well, some years ago, I met a kid out in front of the store. He was from Ireland, and he knew who I was, and was quite excited to meet me, and said that they had me as guest of honor at a party at his house
That you didn't attend.
in Ireland.
Holy shit.
And they had my show on the fucking box, and he said I was the guest of honor at the party, and they all got together and watched my show. And
Far out.
like, how fun is that? Like, I was quite stunned by that, and that was some years ago, and kind of keeps waking you up to that. Yeah, some people are watching from all over the world. So, thanks for tuning in all these years. Well, thanks to Mr. Cookie for being here, and
No worries. Thanks for
Rose
having
coming
me. Fun
in and
times.
adding much fun and buoyant, if I might say, conversation. It was so buoyant.
Bland.
Yo.
And thanks to an elf, too, for, you know what he does.
I
Everything else.
All the other stuff.
is the boss.
Everything that you saw us do, he didn't do that. But he did everything else. He made the mics hot. So until the next time we meet,
See
do
y'all
everything
later.
you can to advance the idea that we don't need any rules around cannabis. It's not going to hurt you.
Pretty safe.
Fucking permits. No.
We don't need no stinking rules. So I'm Marijuana Man. Thanks for tuning in. Until the next time, peace. And pot. Congo. What's on there? Cantaloupe haze. That's cantaloupe haze. Other ones.